This is Coach Lee, and I'm going to talk to you about the truth about getting your ex back, because there's a lot of information out there, and there are always helpful friends who have suggestions. Take a second and click the subscribe button below so that you can be notified when I have more content that's helpful to your situation. And that doesn't just include breakups. That includes attraction. That includes dating advice. That includes anxiety and mindfulness, in addition to getting your ex back. So click the subscribe button below and feel free to leave a comment in the comments below. Ask me your question about your situation, and a lot of those I can get to. And there's also a helpful community here of people who watch my videos who can offer suggestions or refer you to other videos of mine that are helpful to your situation. So breakups are not something that people typically deal with a lot in their lifetimes. They do happen, unfortunately. There will be breakups if you become romantic with someone. There will very likely be breakups, though we tend to think of this relationship being forever a lot of times. There are breakups. That doesn't mean that the two of you won't be together forever or long term, but it does mean that you're going to have to experience a breakup and deal with it. Friends seem to offer a lot of advice, and sometimes it's pretty good. A lot of times it's really bad. And I speak to you on coaching calls, which you can schedule a coaching call with me at myexbackcoach.com. And I have that linked to in the description below. But I speak to people on coaching calls who have been given advice on how to get their ex back or what they should do to get this person to want them back. And a lot of times the advice is really bad. And I'm not basing that on just what it sounds like, because you can't base it on that. There's too many things in life that surprise us. We think one outcome is going to happen and the other happens. I have an unusual vantage point in that I have been in the relationship recovery service for nearly 20 years and have experience with thousands of breakups, separations, and near divorces. Your friends might have a handful, and it's very unlikely that they studied them. And so why would their advice be that important to you? Well, because they're your friends and you trust them. And I get that. But it's very important, if this is important to you, that you get suggestions and advice and direction from someone who works in this every day and who actually studies this and looks at patterns and outcomes, instead of just someone who's going by the hip and says, you should do this. Because when it comes to breakups, what sounds good does not always work if you want to get your ex back. Now, one of the first things I often have to get through to people on is that after you have been broken up with, the past words of your ex that were said to you actually don't matter that much. And people will analyze and even obsess over, he said this to me, he said he will always love me, or that he always wants me in his life, or that once he's done, he never comes back, which is really interesting because I hear people say that a lot. That's a common thing that's said to people, and I wonder sometimes if they say it so that you won't break up with them because you think, if I do, I'll never ever get a chance with them again. But that's said a lot. And the thing is, it doesn't mean it's true, just like it doesn't mean it's true when they say, I'll love you forever, or we'll be together forever, or I want you forever. Those things, unfortunately, are subject to change because you can't control this person. Situations change, their feelings change, and that's why it's very shaky ground when you base love on what you feel in the moment and not on terms of long-term commitment, friendship, companionship, and a type of love that does not get tossed to and fro by life like waves would throw around a boat on the ocean. That's not very stable ground. But a lot of times I will be on coaching calls with people who will say, they said this to me. And it's almost like they want to go to this person and say, you have to come back to me. You can't break up with me because you told me you would love me forever, that I was always going to be someone special in your life, that we would get married. And so it's sort of like a gotcha moment in that we feel like we can tell this person, you said this, therefore you have to do it. You have to take me back. You have to come back, or you can't leave because you said this. And most people, when they're confronted with that, they realize that's not true. It's not the case, but you're emotional and you're grasping on to anything. It happens. Be sure to watch this video all the way to the end because I'm going to tell you some things that you can do to get your ex back. I need to go over some other things that you don't do, that you scratch off the list because it's important. You don't want to mess things up. You don't want to set things back any more than they are. So another thing people often try to do is they want to have a talk with their ex. They want to sit down and have a talk with them. And usually if it doesn't work and you can't get this person back, they want to follow it up with another talk. And they think if we can just have enough talks, we can get back together. This person will want me back. I can explain to them why they really want me and they just don't know it. I don't mean to be harsh, but that's kind of what's going on in the mind of a person who's been broken up with. And that gets into a big truth on breakups, and that is loss versus control. The person who's been broken up with feels the loss because you have no control over the situation. The person who does the dumping, they have the control. In a lot of ways, they have their destiny in their own hands. They're not having to rely on you. They simply say, I want to break up, whereas you are having to rely on them. And in many ways, you are begging for their mercy because they can hurt you and you can't do anything about it. And so a lot of the talking we do to our ex is begging for mercy. It's please come back to me, please do this, when really you can't ask someone to feel a certain way. You can ask, but it certainly won't bring about results. They can't say, okay, I'll choose to feel that way. It just won't happen. And so the idea that you can talk to them enough, persuade them to come back to you, is incorrect. That doesn't mean that it doesn't work some of the time, but that's usually very temporary, as in a couple of days. And this person decides, I'm not going to let him talk me into it again, or I'm not going to let her talk me into coming back again. I'm going to leave, and this time I'm going to be firm about it. And that's when they can get mean. But most of the time, talking only pushes them further away. 80% of the time, talking pushes them further away, does you no good, makes you look less attractive, and slows down the process of getting them back. So one of the things I tell people early on, get the idea out of your head that you can talk your ex into coming back, that you can talk to them and convince them to restore the relationship. That's not how it works. Talking is not the route. The route is that they have a resurgence of attraction for you because that is the cause of the breakup. And so this process of getting them back is not about talking through the issues and working through the issues. We talk about that a lot. We're working through this, we're working through that. We're laying it out there and we're going back and forth and moving toward a common goal. It's not time for that. As a matter of fact, that will be extremely ineffective because they're not motivated to work on things. They are not attracted to you enough at the moment because attraction has fallen. And so why would they want to do the hard work of working on the relationship? Which is something a lot of people are really perplexed by. I don't understand why after this amount of time, they won't even work on things. They won't even try. That's what it seems like. But as I've mentioned in other videos, this is not something they just woke up and decided to do. Usually, most of the time, in the vast majority of cases, your ex has been thinking about this, even planning this for a while. Your ex likely saw it coming in their own heart and was planning their exit strategy. So they are already used to the idea. They've already come to terms with the concept of breaking up. And you are just being blindsided with this. This is news to you. This is brand new. And it hurts and it shocks you and you feel the loss and you become desperate. And you probably beg and text and plead, go over to where they are because you have the idea that you can just talk to them and you'll sort everything out. When it doesn't work that way. They're not going to be influenced by talking or working through issues because attraction is the issue. If attraction is high, people will work hard on things. People want to talk about things to make things better. They want to overcome whatever is keeping you two from being close. But when they want to break up, it is because attraction has fallen. And that's when the motivation's not there. If you walked into a room and you saw someone who physically was very unattractive to you, their breath smelled horribly, and they came over and trashed the person you wanted to win the presidency, and they said unkind things about your mother, and they didn't seem very intelligent or like they could hold a conversation with you. So they were basically unattractive to you in every area of attraction, which would be physical attraction, intellectual attraction, emotional attraction, and maybe even spiritual attraction. And they just were not attractive to you. You did not see this person and think, I want some of that at all. As a matter of fact, they were repulsive to you. Now that's extreme. That's not the case with you. I'm not saying that you are repulsive to your ex. That is not what I'm saying at all. I'm using an absurdity to demonstrate the principle. And that is, if you're not attracted to this person and they say to you, well, why won't you just work on it and try? Well, there's no point. You have no motivation to work on it and to try. And that is the situation in which you find yourself. Attraction has fallen. Doesn't mean it's completely gone. Very unlikely that it's completely gone. It has just fallen by some to large degree, in that your ex is not as attracted to you as he or she once was. And that is where your focus should be, is on rebuilding attraction. And I talk about how to do that in my emergency breakup kit, and that's linked to in the description below. That's my emergency breakup kit. Talks about how you can reestablish and rebuild attraction from this person. Now, if they are not attracted to you to the level that they once were, that means whenever you are around them, it is a source of negativity. You're actually reinforcing in their mind that they are not attracted to you. It's like reminding them over and over, to some degree at least. So that means it's sort of like in a basketball game. If this person's not doing well in the game, you take them out, give them a breather. You might even put in somebody else. And that's where you want to put in your old self, the one that they were attracted to more. And how do you do that? Their memories, because they will reflect on this. I have a very important video called Stages of No Contact, or Stages Your Ex Goes Through During No Contact. I've linked to that in the description below. And I show how their minds progress when you don't contact them. And that concept is called no contact, the no contact rule, which you can learn about in my videos as well as the emergency breakup kit. They're linked to in the description below, both the video and a link to the kit. But when you are not there, if they have been with you any considerable amount of time, let's say 2 or 3 months plus, they will reflect on things. People do that. Little doubts can come up. They remember times when you two were together and things were wonderful. And that's a powerful thing, because they see you as they did then. It's like going back in time for their emotions. And that's what you want to happen, because if you keep interacting with them right now, it can become an annoyance to them. It can become an irritant because they're not attracted to you. It's like a song that you don't like to listen to. It just gets on your nerves. Well, you don't keep playing it thinking that you'll work through it and start liking it. You turn it off. And so you dig the hole deeper by trying to interact with them, by trying to force them to talk with you, by showing up, by sending texts, by emailing, whatever. I know you don't want to hear that. I know that you want to have something you can have control of. That's what makes it so difficult. And again, I refer back to the loss versus control. You are feeling that loss, and you're trying to regain what you had. And it feels like you must take action to do that, but you will actually just dig the hole deeper. I have so many cases where people went into no contact, stopped contacting this person, gave them the breakup because they need to feel the consequences, and this person reached back out to them because they felt it. And a lot of times they don't even know for sure if they want the breakup until they get to experience it. And that's when those little doubts, combined with not hearing from you, can be very powerful, because they start to realize, this is not certain. I'm not certain I want this, and yet I'm not hearing from this person. Are they moving on? Do they want me back because they're not trying to get me back? Could I be losing them? And then the pressure gets on them in a good way to actually make sure that they don't want this. That's where you can reattract them, when they reach out to you, because the dynamic is set up to where now they are pursuing you, even if it's just a small amount. And the key there is not to overreact, not to be too easy in the situation. And I go into that in great detail in my emergency breakup kit, again, linked to in the description below. But the key is you can't just take them back too quickly or seem too excited, but at the same time, you don't want to look like you're trying to be cool and playing it like it doesn't really matter to you, because they can usually see through that, and that will just make it look like you're manipulative, which is very unattractive. Your ex wanting to get back together with you has to come from inside of them. That might come as a surprise to some of you. Others of you may be saying, well, of course. If you try to take it into your own hands and try to talk with them and back them into logical corners or even emotional corners, and they agree to come back to you and be in the relationship again, it's because you wanted it. And that means you will find yourself in the same boat where they want to leave again. It may take a little bit of time. Usually it doesn't take that long. Most of the time, you don't get that chance. They can recognize the manipulation and they see it that way. You don't. You saying, but I want to be with you, they hear as selfish because they think, well, I don't want to be with you. So why should I sit here and just give you what you want when I don't want that right now? Again, I know that's difficult to hear, but that's the truth of the matter. And understanding that is key to getting your ex back and to understanding the mind of your ex. That's another video that I have called The Mind of Your Ex, about what your ex is thinking and going through after this breakup. It helps you because you understand more where they're coming from. Because in the moment of panic, as you beg for mercy and you are trying desperately to get them back, usually the panic and the anxiety keeps you from rationally understanding what's going on or what's going on in the mind of your ex. And in many ways, you turn inwardly. You become selfish, even though it certainly doesn't feel that way. It probably feels like you are giving and offering anything at all to get them back. But you actually become pretty selfish because you're desperate to get them back. And I don't mean that negatively. I don't mean that you're being a bad person or something like that. It's just you really focus inwardly because of the pain. When we are in pain, we all focus more on ourselves in that moment, and that's okay. That's perfectly human. So remember, the key is attraction. That's the truth about breakups and getting your ex back, is that they must have a resurgence of attraction. The other stuff, the other issues, those things don't matter at the moment because they have to be motivated to care about those things, to want to work through those things and talk about those things. So if you try to take that route, it's sort of like a salesperson who you've told no to already. You've already said, no, I don't want it. They come back and say, oh, it's more expensive now. Well, you don't want it anyway. Why would you want to pay a higher price for it? And so that's the situation that they are in emotionally. Understanding that is key. Attraction is where you should focus. And attraction can grow in a vacuum. When you are not there, you raise your value. They appreciate your presence and remember your presence more, and they can feel the negatives of you not being there. But when you are there and you're trying to get your ex back, you're trying to interact with them, you're there. They don't know what it's like to miss you. They don't know what it's like to have the concern that they could never see you again, or they don't get to see the role you played in their life and how important that was. They don't get to learn anything about being without you unless you let them be without you, unless you give them the breakup. And that's the truth about getting your ex back and breakups. Get more information on my emergency breakup kit with the link below, and you can also schedule a coaching call with me with the link in the description below. Or you can go to myexbackcoach.com. That's myexbackcoach.com. And there's lots of helpful articles there. There's hundreds of helpful articles on getting your ex back along with videos. Be sure to subscribe to my channel with the button below, and also leave a comment if this video was helpful to you or about your situation. I try to read those, and there's a community here who will read those and oftentimes can tell you things that I've said or give you helpful suggestions based on what they have learned and what they're going through. This has been Coach Lee, and as always, thank you for watching.